waiting for my turn. At each and every stop, I became a better man. Hence, I'm so.
And we are back again. This is Turn On, Turn Off. Who is it tonight? 2 minutes of your time. I'm your host, Tatted, aka Mr. Smooth Operator. We out here at Africa Doomy Productions. As you can see, guys, I'm not alone. We have the one and only Yaseen when it literally comes to sports, when it comes to starting things from the ground up, when it comes to starting foundations, when it comes to building up people. We have my brother right here, Yaseen, in the building. My brother, how are you feeling today, my bro?
Great, brother.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, finally, my brother, so happy to have you right here with stranger to the show. We first started on the live, and finally we have you right here in the studio as well.
Now, of course, like I said, I'm grateful and happy to be here. So, yeah, thanks, man. I'm excited to chat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, my brother. So, before we get too much into everything and all of that, right, my brother, I'd like for you to take us, a bit behind your background and everything. What actually made you go like, okay, sports and everything is something that I love, but I don't only want to now do it for other people, but for myself. So how did you actually fall in love with sports first before it comes to everything that you've done as well?
Well, it's complicated.
Yeah.
I'll just give it to you in a nutshell. So I always loved sports as a youngster, school sports, athletics, soccer. I wasn't the best or the greatest, but I think I had a deep passion and drive for it, So I would have loved to have made it pro, but unfortunately I didn't get a chance to do that, due to certain obstacles and so forth. But I think that's what kind of motivated me into getting into the space and say, like, if I can't do that, then I want to become the person who gives the opportunity to the new generation to basically go on a journey of having a career in sports. It's possible.
Thanks. And I actually like the fact that you even mentioning that, as much as with yourself, you love sports enough, but you also wanted to go pro. But you're like, okay, as much as I don't go pro, you want to actually do more for other people. So with you actually wanting to do all of that, what type of sports do you like? Where you go like, okay, this is the one sports I'm really so passionate about, or do you have the same love for the different types of sports?
I love all sports. But I would say my expertise lie in football.
Yeah.
I think that gives it away, So football, obviously, I love football just like many other people in our country. And I'm sure many would agree with me that the youth development system or the grassroots development in football has been kind of non-existent, in terms of structures, support, opportunity, so I decided that, I want to try and help make a difference in it, in a good way. A lot of people complain, but instead of finding problems, I try and find solutions,
Thanks. I actually like that you even mentioning that, right? As we even touching on mentioning like solutions and everything, I would like for you to even tell us about Holas Coco. How did it actually, start? What was the history behind that, and how has it been going since you started the foundation as well?
Okay, that's a good question. Holas Coco is a football academy, right? And I just happen to be a director at one of the branches at Boksburg. So I don't own the franchise. It's a friend and colleague in the industry, Coach Nish. I'm sure a lot of people, if you Google him or check them on Instagram, you'll be able to see that the academy started in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and they've risen through the ranks, by doing things that I particularly agree on in terms of my coaching philosophy. You know what I'm saying? Good structure, good support, good opportunities, legit. You know what I'm saying? So, hence I decided to make contact with them last year, and I said, what, give me an opportunity. I want to be part of this. I do have my credentials and so forth. So let's see where it can go. It was a slow start at the beginning of the year, started off with 2 kids, under 13 and 14. They've been solid. It was good to see their development and growth. They started scoring goals and so forth. And, I just decided to start pushing content, put content, let parents see or people see on social media. This is what we're doing. I'm a full believer in transparency. You got to be transparent in this industry. You got to do it for the right reasons. As much as it's a business, it's also doing it for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of academies out there that's not doing things for the right reasons, but that's a different topic on its own. So we decided that, it will be slow growth, but I'm chasing quality. You know, it's easy for me to go out and get 100 kids, but out of that 100, am I dealing with problems? Or am I dealing with people that's going to go out there and be committed and dedicated? You know what I'm saying? So, it's been a slow start, but from June to now, thank God with all the content I've been putting out there, you know, I've managed to get a lot more interest and sign-ups, you know. So next year, I'm looking to kind of get into the 20 to 30 mark, you know what I'm saying, in terms of the amount or amount of participants, you know, in the academy.
And that's actually really interesting when you've been touching on the fact that you could actually start with having 100 kids and all of that. But if you have now 100 kids and then you're not even going to cater for them, it's like you're actually now just ripping them off and it's going to kill them. So rather you start with the 2, as you're saying, your mark next year is going to be to have 20, and that's like a lot. And with me knowing the work that you've been doing, I know you've been giving, you know, also a lot of opportunities out and everything like that. So when it comes to even like association and everything in terms of with the kids that you work with, which countries would you like to see them go to, and maybe with some of the experiences you've had with the kids as well?
Okay, so countries in terms of opportunities through Hola SCOUTS Group, I can't really name all of them because it's been so many over the last few years, you know, and excitingly so, because last year I know they went to Dubai. This year in June they went to Brazil. They're going to Portugal now this month, if I'm not mistaken. Next year there's also a return trip to Brazil. So out of correct me if I'm wrong, but it's about 27 kids that went to Brazil in June, and about 9 of them got callbacks, you know, for different reasons, you know, either coming back for a tournament or academy training and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's quite good. And I mean, even for the parents and athletes out there listening, you know, these are legit opportunities, and, but you got to be dedicated, obviously. And, it comes with discipline. It doesn't happen overnight, you know. They say, you cannot cry when you're not winning because you're not putting the work in. But if you put in the work in, you know, it's a different story.
Facts, bro. And I even love the fact that you even mentioning all of these places, because with other people, you know, they think all of these opportunities, it's impossible. You have to maybe go through this channel to get this opportunity. But as you're saying, you know, when you see someone is dedicated and they're putting in the work, they're actually able to go to all of these places, because already it's so difficult to get someone an opportunity this side, but now to even help them cross over, that's like very big, and big ups to you on that, my brother. But even now, as we've been talking about the serious stuff and everything, I just want us to play a game which I'm going to show you 3 faces, and then you're going to have to guess, you know, who they are. So with the name of this game, it's going to be face or flop. So I'm going to show you 3 people, and then you have to guess who they are. So I'm going to show you this person. This person has definitely been, you know, operating the deals. He's an icon as well. I think you should know this person. Yeah, Deco Mudise, you know. And Deco literally was one of like the very first few people to sign big deals.
Yeah,
actually.
Of course. But what a player.
Yeah.
When he was in Sundown. My man. Bernard Parker.
Yeah, that's it.
My man from the East End. I gotta know him.
That's why I had to literally put him in. Then I'm gonna show you one more face.
Wait. I had his name on the top of my tongue now. Damn. Played for Brighton. Damn, I had it on the top of my tongue and now I can't remember.
You forgot.
Yeah.
I definitely will be right there for everyone else to see. So I was showing you, you know, those 3 people as well, you know, to show each and everyone that. So as I was showing you these people, they're very iconic people. They've been achieving a lot of things in their careers, right? I want us to go to the next segments of the game. This is Bus Stop, whereby we're going to have a bus right here on the screen. The colors, South African flags, it's right there. So before we go far, with you being someone that's into sports and everything else, I want, before we leave on the bus, because you can't be alone on a whole bus, I want you to take 5 people that you feel like inspire you when it comes to sports that you look up to, or people that you know motivate you on a daily basis that you would have on your bus. Just 5 people, and why these 5 people as well.
Can I say 5 of my personalities? Nah, I'm kidding. Now, there's only a handful of people that actually keep me going. one would be a football icon that I always looked up to. He's the reason why I fell in love with football in the first place. Ronaldo Nazario de Lima, the Brazilian Ronaldo. You know, he's famous for that little haircut of his in the 2002 World Cup. But not just because of the player he was, you know, it's just, if you look back at his story, he's also been through injuries and difficult times at a very young age, which kind of hindered his career a bit, you know. But I mean, to persevere and come back after 2 years of not playing football with a serious knee injury and then having won the World Cup and the Ballon d'Or and then getting a big move to Real Madrid, I mean, that's you know, that shows you that anything is possible if you just put your mind to it and do what you need to do. So he'd be the first on that list. The second on that list would be a coach in the industry that I really admire. I'm going to say I am Jose Mourinho.
That's a legend.
You know, Jose Mourinho is just, that's why they call him the special one, you know, because he's just got a different taste for tactics in the game. You know, he's not all about just coaching and fitness and whatever. He knows how to get you results. And at the end of the day, what do people look for? They look for results. You know what I'm saying?
Trophies,
yes, 100%. It's a serial trophy winner. And, you know, I aspire to be like that one day with that mindset. Third person on that list, I would say, a coach that I had when I was younger. You know, I wish he could have still been around. His name was Coach TK. You know, he coached me when I was very young at the football club, but I don't think anyone would remember this. I remember him based on certain words that he said to me, you know, because I was a little bit chubby and always put me there at the back, you're a defender, you know. You know, they won't score past you, go be a goalkeeper today, you know. And being in that kind of position, it hurts you, you know what I'm saying? Because not everyone has such a strong mindset. But that coach said to me, you know what? One day you'll prove everyone wrong. And I mean, today I'm testament to that, you know, based on his words. I was 11 years old, 12 years old. They didn't choose me for a tournament when the school went to Durban, even though I was kind of a good player, you know. They chose someone that wasn't as good as
everyone else left.
So, I mean, based on those kind of experiences, I worked to be where I am today, you know what I'm saying? And I'm quite a decent footballer now, so shout out to that. And then the last two people, I guess, would be my parents. You know, they've, your mother and your father, you know, in my culture, you believe that heaven lies under your mother's feet and your father is the key to heaven. So, you know, if you have their support and their backing and their love and whatever, you can go far and you can do things. So I'm grateful for the morals and principles that they've instilled in me to become who and what I am today. So yeah, those are my 5 people.
Okay, those 5 people, and I'm even thinking, literally, you mentioned Ronaldo, you mentioned literally Jose Mourinho, you mentioned your coach TK, you also mentioned your parents, because I can even tell the people you chose, you know, these are very iconic people and people that also played a big role in your life. So as we're on this bus, right, okay, everyone is on there, we're all on the bus, and we're taking a few stops. So at the first stop, when you're literally on the bus, you're literally there in the front of the bus as well, you know, since you're a coach, you're used to having like, you know, pep talks and everything. So if you had to say, you know, a few words for someone that's out there, that's looking at you and they're like, okay, how do I get myself in that position? You know, what words would you have for them? You're there standing, you know, you're running in the bus and waiting to hear what you're going to say as well.
I keep it short and simple. If you can't believe in yourself, then how can I believe in you? And only once you believe in yourself can I fully believe in you and push you and drive you. Because I can take you to the river, but your choice to drink that water. You know? So yeah, I want to create a strong mindset, I would say, in a lot of the athletes that I work with. You know, you can't baby them because at the end of the day, being an athlete comes with a lot more responsibilities than your average 9-to-5 job.
True, facts. You're telling the truth on that, because imagine now you baby them and then it comes to match day and situations that happen within the whole field. Because also, you know, with them, they also receive a lot of publicity as well. So with that, you actually get to teach them a lot of things. So as we've been touching on that, for you, what's like one of the most special moments since you've started actually, you know, the foundation you've started, you've got like, okay, you know, since I've actually been doing this, when I think about this moments, I really think, okay, yo, I really came far. So what are some, I know you've been doing a lot. I know.
Yeah, I'm trying to, you know, I'm spinning the wheel in my head. How which one do I pick? I'll go back to my matric year. You know, it's, I think that was kind of a stepping stone development for me, because there was a high school teacher of mine. He was a Greek guy, Mr. Papendorf.
Okay.
That's how you say his surname, right? And he was the head coach for the under 14 boys. I was playing for the open team at the time, and obviously teachers don't have much time. They got admin work and all, you know. So I was like, hey coach, you know what? Let me help you. Let me coach these boys. Because I knew some of them, it was friends, little brothers, and you know, that sort of thing. And I said, nah, let me see if this is cut out for me. Because I knew once I'm done with matric, hey, what opportunities do I have in terms of, am I going to go play for Kaizer Chiefs or Orlando Pirates? The chances were probably 1 out of 100, you know what I'm saying? Given the circumstances. So I went and I helped coach those boys, and while playing for the senior team, they actually won the league. You know, and went to playoffs and whatever. And obviously I'd have to report to the head coach because he was a senior coach and stuff like that there. But I mean, that's what kickstarted like all of that. And I said, you know what, let me try this sports as a career type of thing. No, there was no one like me to give me advice. So I had to do all the groundwork, you know, go on to, there wasn't ChatGPT and all of these things. So I had to physically go and look at books and magazines and go to open days and, you know, cause the internet wasn't as advanced. I know I'm talking as if it was 1950, but I mean, still,
it's like, it
was what, almost 12 years ago, you know what I'm saying? So hence I found a place called ETA, you know, and they based in Randburg in Malibongwe. And I went and I studied sports science and just went on, and that's how my sports career kicked off, you know, and I learned the body in terms of high performance and nutrition and psychology and, you know, finance management in terms of sports management and so forth, facilities, running tournaments. And that's where I basically gathered all of that information and decided, okay, where to from here now, you know what I'm saying? And my first job that I got was at Virgin Active, was back in weights, and, you know, I literally worked in almost every department there at Virgin Active, sometimes voluntarily, and sometimes because it was what I was getting paid for. And, you know, that's how my network grew, and obviously I was coaching on the side. It was quite hectic, it really was. But yeah, I think that those little moments there in those 2 years kind of is something that I always go back to, because I mean, 10 years on, where I'm sitting here with you today is so much that I can tell you we'll need a 3-hour show for that, you know?
Exactly. That's why even I was like, I know it's a lot. But for you to even like, you know, actually take us back to that moment, it's even taking us back when you even say you had to start from that point to be where you are, even with other people that are even in matric or wherever they are now, when they see everything you've accomplished right now, they'll go like, okay, you know, he actually started there. It wasn't the thing of like, everything was, you know, smooth and everything. So when it even comes to like athletes and everything, what advice would you give someone that's actually starting up, that wants to become an athlete and wants to be in the field as well?
It's how you are off the field that matters the most.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So how you are off the field is what matters the most. You can be the most skillful of player, regardless of the sport. But, you know, I'll go back to those 5 aspects that we spoke about the last time. If you don't work on yourself financially, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna face obstacles, you know, regardless, even if you do work on those 5 things, but it just makes your life a lot more easier. So I would say that, athletes of today, especially the young ones, you know, don't expect things to happen overnight. You gotta put in the work. It's a process, you know, you gotta follow the right channels and do what's necessary, you know, in terms of getting enough hours of sleep, in terms of eating the right things at the right time, you know. So it's simple things that is common knowledge to you that you should be applying to your daily life. And I find that that's very difficult for young athletes to do, because why? Regardless of whether you're in a private school or a government school or whatever, all the kids or young athletes of today are exposed to the same environment outside of their schooling environments, you know. So it's very easy for them to fall off. And there's a lot of talent in every single town in this country. There's so much of talent in sports, I promise you. But 1 out of 10 will make it. Why? Because that one is disciplined. That one is persistent. That one perseveres. You understand? And that one understands that it's make it or break it time. There comes a certain age when you're an athlete where you gotta realize that it's now or never, you know, and then you gotta become a coach or something, you know. So try and avoid that by just following the simple instructions in life, and it doesn't even come with an instruction manual. It's common knowledge.
Yeah, thanks. And as you even like saying that with discipline, because most time, as you've been saying, it's the person you are outside. Because I can imagine now you're an athlete, right outside, you're not even taking care of yourself. You're just there, you're walking back to back, you're just doing whatever. Of course, now when you get on stage or whatever, when you have to do whatever you have to do, you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be drained. So as we're talking about that, do you believe in terms of, being an athlete and all of that, nutrition is very, very important? Because I feel like that's one thing that we don't focus most on, especially in the country here. Because, with a lot of people in other countries, they focus on that. They even have plans for other people. But I feel like this side, we're mostly focused, as you mentioned, even with the skill. But when it comes to food, they don't really, really take it to heart like that.
No, for sure. Nutrition it's very important. Nutrition is probably one of the most vital points in terms of your athletic career, because obviously if you're eating McDonald's every day, happy meals, you're not going to be as happy in 10 years time, when you can't run down the field to fetch the ball. So, you don't have to be on a superstar level, but you got to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's as easy as saying, like, when I was a personal trainer at Virgin Active, I'd have 7 cups of coffee a day. This is back in 2018. 7 cups of coffee a day, and I look back and I was like, how did I survive? I was like always, like you're taking pre-workout or something. And then eventually I didn't just go from 7 cups to 1 cup or no cup. I cut down gradually. Some days you went to 5, 4, 3, back to 7, so in terms of you trying to get onto a healthy and balanced nutrition, if you eat in McDonald's every day, you can't just go to not eating McDonald's every day. Your body's going to crave it. So you cut down gradually and then substitute the bad meals for good meals, and learn what is good starch, what's not good starch. So instead of having normal potatoes, try and have sweet potatoes, In the morning you need fiber, because why? Fiber cleanses your system out. In the afternoon you try and have your carbohydrates, because it's your source of energy. In the evening you try and fill you up with protein. Why? Because protein is a source of recovery. So if you just understand your body and how it works, you'll know what to do and what not to do and when to do it. And a lot of people do know, but they just choose not. It's out of laziness,
Like
don't hate me for saying that, but it's true.
Because a lot of people are like, I will see. When it comes to that, as long as I'm just doing my thing, I'm going to continue. So as we're talking about, nutrition, do you also feel like when it comes to brand affiliations, are they very important when you're an athlete, or you can just be cruising without even brands that you're working with as well?
Well, exposure is always good. So it would be nice to have brand affiliates. And I guess there's a lot of new brand affiliates, like, your ISO raids, and there's so many energy drinks coming out now, and they're willing to work with athletes, you know what I'm saying? So why not? I mean, try and affiliate with whoever and whatever you can, as long as it correlates with sports, you know what I'm saying? You can't have a soccer player now being affiliated with Jameson.
It wouldn't connect.
So look, it does help. It does make a difference. And they also support you in terms of marketing and PR and, all of that stuff. So on the business end of things, it does make sense.
Okay. That's actually proper. And I hope people are listening in, right? And as we were talking about that and everything, I want to ask you, when it comes to, since you've been in your space and being a coach, what are some of the changes you'd like to see for other people that you've experienced that you wouldn't like them to go through as well?
So changes in terms of structure and support, it would be nice to have a high performance center in Johannesburg. So I am looking for sponsors at the moment for something like, or investors, so that is in the pipeline. We're busy with doing paperwork and so forth for something like that. Because I do know there is one probably in CBD and Pretoria, but I mean 2 in a whole province, we need something like that, because I mean, if you want to develop an athlete to go and represent Bafana at the World Cup, yes, they might be getting it from their club or so forth, but it would also be nice to have a center where schools in the vicinity can also come through and say, okay, you know what, we've got a rugby team that's competing on provincial level. We'd want them to come in here and use your facilities in terms of sports science and so forth, so that they can actually know what it's like to be on that level, and train at that level. So that's something that, I really want to see in terms of you talking about changes, because structure and facilities, it's very poor. Only certain facilities which are privately owned or have good investment have the privilege of that. And I mean, I'm one that also struggles with that. I might have some sort of a nice facility, but it's not on the standard of which I hold myself to as a coach. And I would want to see it get to that level, so yeah.
Okay, that's very good and interesting when you talk about those facilities, because with most of us from the outside, we don't even know about that. And as you're talking about facilities and everything, right, I'd like for you to, give us your details in terms of if people wanting to join Holas Coco or wanting to be part of Mr. Sports Academy, how can they actually be a part of that as well?
100%. Thank you for that, brother. So we are on social media, Instagram, TikTok. My personal page on TikTok is Coach Yaseen. On Instagram, you can find me as well, Coach Yaseen, and the links to all my affiliates are on there. So Mr. Sport Academy on Instagram as well, Holas Coco Boxburg on Instagram as well. So yeah.
Okay, go check it out. And my brother, I really appreciate you, coming through, my brother. You've been dropping a whole lot of gems. Even with me, I didn't know that much about sports, but now I can actually go and have a conversation. We're like, you know what? I actually know about this because of you. Which, I appreciate you so much, my brother. And I know with everyone else, they also going to be enjoying. Which brings us to the end of the show. This is Turn On, Turn Off. I go by the name of Tatted. We had Yaseen in the building. Guys, go check out each and everything. We're out here at Africa Doomy Production Studios. I go by the name of Tatted, and this is Turn On, Turn Off. Go like, go subscribe, and much love.
Waiting for my turn.